We've got Brian Wagner, who was also presented here at Ignite before. Is this number 3? Number 3, all right. So Brian Wagner is a professional engineer working for a civil engineering firm in Westminster, Maryland. Brian has spoken at local and national conferences on a variety of engineering topics. He lives in Tawnytown with his wife and 2 children. So please welcome Brian as he enlightens us with how 3 circles changed my life. Give it up for Brian, everybody. Wireless is there if you want it. Good luck, buddy. I'll start as soon as I'm down. All right.
All right, so like Vince said, I've talked 3 times here. Most of the times I talk in public, it's about engineering topics, but again this year, like last year was my search dog, this year is a little bit more personal. So a little more than 2 years ago, I was climbing the professional ladder, recent promotions, a lot of responsibility, more stress, a constant toothache that wouldn't go away, and working a ton of hours. And then I started getting the questions, how long are you gonna work tonight? And when are you gonna be home, Daddy? Now I'll tell you, when a 5-year-old asks you that, it starts to remind you that you might be doing something wrong. But I kept telling myself I needed to do this to support my family. So the day that changed my life wasn't much different than normal. It was at a seminar. It was the second day of leadership at Carroll. It was morning after I gathered my stuff. We headed down, and I had the opportunity to meet Todd Burrier. I don't know if anybody's ever had the opportunity to talk to Todd or have a seminar with Todd, but he has been teaching for 15 years, a variety of topics, more than 15 years actually, and he strives to empower anybody he talks to with the ability to be their best. So he believes that you can have personal and professional success with a focus on 3 aspects of your life, his 3 circles. The first being your personal health, and that's been a topic that's already been touched on tonight. It's your physical things like getting enough sleep, nutrition, fitness, but it's also the mental side of things, the unseen side, the emotional health, spiritual health, and the mental balance. The second circle is your loved ones, your relationships that mean the most to you. It's your spouse, your children, your parents, your siblings, the best of your best friends, the people that rely on you, but the people that you also rely on. As he talked about those 2 circles, my favorite band, Shinedown, has a song, it's How Did You Love? And the song touches on mortality, it touches on how we leave this world, that often, most of us, will never end up in a history book. Maybe a few generations pass and not many people are going to know about you. But that at the end of the day, it's really about who you affect in your circle of life, in your environment, in those community that you live within. His last circle is your career. It's where you get your money from. And this is what I believe society largely focuses the barometer on how successful you are in life. It's how far you made it in your career and what you did for a living. So as he went and dove into each circle, my feelings actually surprised me, and I think Zach was there, and I was in the back of the room, so nobody saw the tears that were in my eyes. As I began to question everything about my life in that moment. In a way I can't cover in 5 minutes, Todd dove into each circle, and he stressed that you had to take care of yourself first. He challenged my way of thinking of, I need to support them, I need to do this for them, with a simple statement, and that was, who's going to support them if I'm dead, if I'm gone, if I'm not there to support them because I drove myself straight into the ground. He emphasized that the second priority has to be those closest relationships to you. They're the ones that are going to support you, they're going to be there for you. And while it's important, it's the lowest priority, which be your career. You need to prioritize the other 2 things first. Now, this concept made complete and total sense to me. I kind of thought of Todd's circles as buckets, and this was probably what my life looked like, putting a lot of effort into my work to support my relationship and my family, and leaving myself last. I went home and I was seriously questioning my efforts and what I was putting into life. And I began to kind of pour myself into myself, take that extra time, not in a selfish way, but a focused way. I got that toothache fixed, which immediately made me happier. And I also started to focus and pull myself out of the deep trenches of having to do the work. The work would always be there. And it actually helped me pull myself out of that, helped me focus on my relationship and my family, putting away my phone, putting away my email, computer, and really focusing on the family that meant the most to me, those 3 people. And as each bucket filled, including my career bucket as it cascaded down, I really balanced out my life and actually decided to pivot a little bit in my career because I realized that the environment and the race that I was in to keep going was actually a little toxic for me, and it wasn't where I wanted to be. So I changed things, and I made myself a little bit more balanced, a little bit better work-life balance. And while these circles modified the way I thought, it provided me the opportunity to step back and really be happy. Thank you.